Good morning. We are working on a 2003 Saturn L200 EcoTech 2.2 motor. This engine was receiving a P0171 code as well as a cylinder 3 misfire. So the first thing that was replaced was the coil pack here. The coil pack, the coil control module, took the EcoTech sticker off of the original one and put it back on this one because I like the way it looks. Changed all 4 spark plugs, all 4 boots. Issue still remained. One thing that you'll notice also is that when it does register an error, the high fan will continue running. After doing some more diagnostic, I even changed intake air temperature sensor, checked the manifold absolute pressure sensor right there. Doing some diagnostic, ended up turning out that it actually was a misfire. The common cause is the injectors. I did get a cylinder 4 misfire. This is cylinder 4. Now if you were to have access to a Tech Tool scan tool, which is usually the dealership has them, or if you know of somebody with one, the best way to diagnose this issue is you hook it up, you go to the injector calibration test, and you fire off each injector, and you make sure that each one is running. Now this engine was having an issue not on cold start. So this car would start up perfectly fine in the morning, run great, all the way up until you stop somewhere, say go into the store, get something, and after that you'd come back out, the engine's warm, it's hot outside, summer today. You go to start it up and it would start misfiring. Intermittent issue, wasn't all the time. It started getting worse and worse. So now it's doing it after the engine is warmed up. And that's actually a mechanical issue inside here, inside the injector. Just for reference, this is injector 1, injector 2, injector 3, and injector 4. So the same order is cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, cylinder 4. That way, if you need to know where the cylinders are and what order they are, that's what cylinder it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is disconnect all these electronics, because I am going to change out the injector today. I've got, there's my Interstate M27 AGM battery, but nope, can't read that. The fuel injector here, return old unit in this box. There is a core charge. This is by Autoline. They did not send this to me. I am not doing a review for them on this. This is just my personal choice when I bought my injector, and pretty great deal on Rock Auto. There's my AC line. I'm just gonna go ahead and disconnect the AC pressure sensor there. This is our idle control valve here, idle control motor. That way, if anybody needs to know where that is, that's where that is. Alright, so let me get busy on taking some of this apart, and I'll be right back. Oh guys, okay, once again, just wanted to go over something before I get too far involved into this. So far I've already taken off the intake here. One thing that you're supposed to do before you get started taking things apart, I do apologize for not getting to this in advance, is in your fuse box here. This is in the wrong spot here, this is just in here, but this here, this 15 amp fuse, that is the fuel pump. Best thing to do is pull that out. I put it in the spare spot here, just underneath it, so I know where it goes. Try to start the engine. When the engine won't start anymore, then that's when your fuel lines will be cleared of the pressure that's built up in them. That way when you take it off, it doesn't want to blow up in your face. Won't literally do that, just a figure of speech. Alright, let me get back to it. But yeah, so far, took off the intake, took off the breather tube here. Alrighty, I'll be right back. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to give an update on. I'm really about 5 minutes in here. Not very far along. It really doesn't take that long. When you're going and taking, sorry, this is a simple way here. Taking off all your components here. I mean, this is an electronic line here. Runs to the computer, runs throughout the whole system. There's, I don't know if you can see it here, there's a bolt here, and there's a bolt over here. This bolt's gone because I already took it out. The first bolt holds the electronic harness here in place. So there's a 10mm on this side, 10mm on this side. Once you get those off, and there are the nuts right there, 1 and 2. There's a bolt underneath, like this. This is a 13mm. You'll need a 13mm deep socket to pull it out. Shouldn't be in there too tight. Just go ahead, and once you get this, get the harness moved out of the way, get this rail out of the way. This is the overflow for the reservoir over there. Get this out of the way, get the harness out of the way, you can pull these out. And this is what's holding the fuel rail here in place. Alright, so let me go ahead and get back to this real quick. Sorry guys for the lapses. I don't have a GoPro. Doing this all on my iPhone. So that way, if there's anybody else out there having the same issue with this car, at least there's a reference. Alright guys, thank you. Okay guys, I'm back. So I wanted to point out over here, these are your fuel lines here. They run all the way along here to the fuel rail. This here is a bolt that holds these fuel lines in place. What I'd recommend, I'm not a mechanic by any means, I mean backyard mechanic as you can tell, but I removed this, and it does have a retaining ring on it so it won't fall out. I'd remove this to give you a little bit more play on this. That way you can easily slide your fuel rail without having to move too much crap. Now for me, in my situation, I don't have, this is a 1 inch. I don't have a 1 inch. All I got is a 3/8. Of course I can go, or 7/8, I'm sorry. Of course I can go to the auto parts store, hardware store, grab myself a 1 inch, but I don't want to. I don't want to risk pulling this off, messing up the flange, and risking a fuel line leak, which could be hazardous, could cause a fire. So I would rather not. I'd rather just give myself enough play, which, as you can see, it's enough. But just to pull it out, just enough to where I can get the injector out. As you can see, this is the one that I've been having an issue with. So all I really needed to do was pull this one out. Best way to lubricate the injector so you don't break the retaining ring, which you'll have to keep. There's a retaining ring around each injector holding it to the fuel rail. Is to get yourself a little bit of WD-40, use the line, just spray it down in there to lubricate it a little bit, just to loosen it up, and then just lightly tug on it and it should come out. Alright guys, let me replace this injector and I'm going to put it back together and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so there you have it. Put everything back together. This car's running like a charm. Not one misfire. Not running lean. Fan's not blowing on super high. Alright guys, well, job well done. Thank you. Thank you for watching.